And here we go. All right. Coffee time. I like coffee time. Because really, like, anything can happen. The day's just starting. Could be a great day. It's going to be a great day. I'm going to make sure it's a great day. Oh. Andrew says the one nice thing about insomnia is I get to enjoy first couple. I'm sorry, my friend. If you ever want to talk about insomnia, there's a book. Well, I'll share it with everybody. There's a book that you might want to check out called Sleep Smarter by Sean Stevenson. I may have told you about it. I tell people about it all the time. It's a great book. Really helped me with a lot of things. And I didn't have insomnia, but I sleep better, like much better now. So, 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Wednesday. It's December 2nd, 2020. My name's Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee with my dog on it. Because my other mug's in the drain, the dish drain, covered by dishes. Didn't plan ahead on that one, and that's okay. Because a mug, maybe a mug isn't a mug. It's not my first cup mug, but it is a nugget. Yesterday, somebody left a comment, "Where's Zuza?" And Zuza, I'll show you where Zuza is. Oh, here, I'll take the phone out. There she is. She's hanging out under that table I use as a plant stand, staying warm, like she does. It's one of her favorite spots. She doesn't lay there in the summer, just in the winter when the heat's going. Oh, because it's forced hot air that comes up right there. And she's laying pretty much on the duct. So she's cozy. I still got to find a way to make the hydroponic system quieter. Thought I had a way, and then come to find out the pipes that the company used are not in any kind of standard American dimension. So I would either need to order essentially custom pipes from China, or would need to rebuild the whole thing. Neither is a good idea. So I'm trying to come up with something better. I've got something kind of in my head with some more flexible tubing. But one more thing on the list. If you did not join us for last night's episode of Whistlekick Live, you missed out. It was a lot of fun. I had a really good time. I would say it's our best episode yet. One of the things that Gabe and I talk about is how do we continually grow? How do we grow the show? And I don't necessarily mean grow in terms of audience. I mean grow in terms of development. How do we make it better? How do we improve it each time? Because our thought is, if we keep making it better, people will keep coming back, and eventually it'll grow. And that's really what we do with everything here at Whistlekick. How do we don't focus on advertising what we do. We focus on making what we do better. And it's worked so far. So we had a couple guests on and had some fun, told some jokes. It was a good time. I like live. And honestly, it was the highlight of my day. Yesterday it wasn't a bad day. I felt unsettled. I started my day essentially not the way I wanted to. Most of the day was in response to other people, what other people wanted and needed. And then I had a pretty good podcast interview yesterday afternoon and chilled out, had some dinner, and then live, and now it's now. So what's going on today? I have no appointments. I could do some financial stuff. A bunch of maybe not a bunch, some client work. There's a bunch of stuff I've got to do. And we're chipping away. Gonna make it a good day. I gotta get cat food, going to the gym. Might cut my hair after I come back, because it's long. See how long this is? See how long my beard is? Anybody who knows me knows this is long. And yeah, Yesterday there was a point where Vermont, where I am, for those of you who do not know, Vermont was the warmest place in the continental U.S. We were close to 60 degrees, and most other warm places were in the low 50s. I don't know that that's ever happened, but it's really bizarre. There was the edges of a warm front in northern New England, and everybody else was cold. You all can't handle it. We can handle it. We're used to being cold. It gets to 50 over the summer, and nobody bats an eye. It's like, yeah, no, summer in Vermont, it's fine. So, there's definitely no snow on the ground. When's it going to snow? I wonder. Andrew says, that's kind of neat. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen plenty of times where, Florida ends up being colder than up here in New England, but not the whole U.S. Never seen that before. I don't know if that's a record or anything, but I've got a feeling it is. I think I saw something that said we set a record yesterday. Yesterday for live, had a slightly different setup, and if you watched, you noticed I was much closer to the camera. I've always been a fan of mounting my computer monitors. I'm demonstrating computer monitors. I have two of them. I don't know why. I need to show that with my hands. This is the first place I've lived in a long time where those monitors sat on a desk. And I bought a huge desk when I moved in here. And I thought that was going to work for me. And it has for years. But with all the different work that I'm doing, I need to be able to move things around. And so those monitors got mounted on some arms. They go up and down and can get out of the way. Easier to clean, but also easier if I want to go from sitting to standing. And I do most of the recording standing. And so that's why we did that. And so now I've got monitors on arms, and there's a big microphone, there's a camera. It's like my own studio. Anything else? I don't think there's anything else to really talk about. Oh, last thing I'll share. I kept all my yearbooks, my middle school yearbooks, high school yearbooks, even my college yearbooks. College yearbooks were weird. They didn't have much in the way. Andrew says, but you have to wear a hat. I didn't have to, but I did. I wore that hat because it was a new item. I'm trying to demo new items on the show and then talk about them for about 3 seconds. I'm not a salesman. I don't want. I mean, yeah, we need to make money, but I don't want Whistlekick to become commercial first. So, college yearbooks are weird. They didn't. I don't know what the purpose of college yearbooks were, but my middle school yearbooks, my high school yearbooks. Years ago, I started scanning them because I don't want to lose them. I don't want to have them get eaten by bugs or whatever. So I cut the binding and scanned them, and I did one more of those yesterday. I got a new scanner because of some client work that I'm doing, and it made it really easy. I scanned the whole thing in less than a half hour, which before was taking hours, and just scanned all the pages, uploaded to Facebook, tagged maybe 24 people, and just watched the chaos. So much fun. This particular yearbook was my freshman year of high school, and you can find it if you go to my personal Facebook page. But what you will see is the most hair of probably any photo ever for me. There's a lot of hair, and hair, like hair. Proof that at some point I had hair, and I think that was one of the last times before I shaved it. Started shaving it. I thought I started shaving it sooner, but maybe not. Anything else? No, I think that's good. So let's see what we've got to talk about. What did you all write in? What did you say? Richard asked about Zuza. I showed you Zuza. And Frank noticed that yesterday was Bill Superfoot Wallace's birthday. Yes, he turned 75. Sent him a text and let him know I'd be quote unquote there virtually this weekend for our Superfoot training conference. And for those of you who have never made it to one of those, this is a great opportunity because it's virtual. It's 5 hours Saturday and 5 hours Sunday. And there's some other great martial artists on the calendar. I think I know all but one person teaching. Most of these people I consider friends. And then there's one name that we've never had, at least not in the time I've been going to training conferences. There's a name that we haven't seen, and that's Michael J. White. And if you don't know, Michael J. White has a black belt from Bill Wallace, and has agreed to come on the show. We keep not getting it to happen. Bums me out. But at some point, it'll happen. And so he's teaching something. He's a phenomenal teacher. Andrew's asking, how would one register? Go to Superfoot. I think it's superfootsystem.com. Try superfoot.com. I know we've got that one. If you look around on Facebook for Superfoot System, you should be able to find it. Some of this is my memory failing, because I've got an email sitting in my inbox that I'm going to use to register. And some of it is that some of the things that the organization does can be a little confusing at times. So great content, great martial artists, not necessarily the best business people. That's okay. I think you could probably make the same claims about me. You know, one of the things I'm going to say, and this bothered me a little bit. The number of people who posted photos of Bill or them with Bill, just showing everyone else that they've met him or they've known him or trained with him. How is that wishing him a happy birthday? Right? I sent him a text. I don't care that anybody knows I know him. I don't care that anybody knows that we've spent time together. I've got plenty of goofy photos of him and I and good stories, and I think the world of him. And I'm glad he's so important to so many people. But I think some people missed the point yesterday, and that made me a little sad. If you're watching live, if you could hit that thumbs up button, I would appreciate that. The more thumbs up we get, the better the show spreads later, and not just live, but if at any point if you watch any whistlekick content, just on YouTube, just hit that thumbs up, please. I appreciate that. All right, so yesterday was Bill Superfoot Wallace's birthday. I found some quotes from interviews he has done. What was he on? Episode 14 of Martial Arts Radio, our first big interview. Anyone who wants to do seminars has to find a niche and provide something people want. And this is a great example of a man who understands what he's doing and providing value. He has given seminars for decades and enjoys it. It keeps him in shape, it keeps him engaged. And as he trains and teaches, there are small refinements to what he does. And if you only go to his seminars once or twice, you're not going to know that. But and I don't even train with him remotely enough to get that. But some of my friends that have been training with him for a very long time have pointed that out. Hey, we used to do it this way. Now Bill wants us to do it this way. Oh, okay. And so what's your niche? If you think about it, there are people in the modern era here in 2020 who are famous because they're famous. They're not famous for doing anything. Famous for being famous is not sustainable. Famous for being famous is social media personalities. how do you contribute value? How do you make people's lives better? And this is where you see people who just they fade away so quickly, or they put out a product or a service and nobody buys, because yeah, they'll show up to see what you're doing because you're attractive, or because the social momentum has brought you to them, but they're not engaged. They don't feel value. They don't feel like they're getting anything out of that, so they're not going to give anything. And so if you want, I've talked to a number of people over the years who want to do seminars. They want to follow in Superfoot's steps. Superfoot steps? My advice to them has been the same. What is it you're going to teach? What is it you can teach better than anybody else? Just going to a seminar isn't enough. Just having a seminar. People have to know why. People have to know what they're going to get out of it. And you have to build a reputation. And to use the Dave Grohl quote that we've been using on Martial Arts Radio a number of times over the last few months, you have to suck for a long time before you get good. Bill spent years perfecting what he does before he ever taught it to other people. Keep that in mind. What do? What's my thing? My thing is showing people the value in slow movement and how it opens up a lot of things for self-analysis. And that there are things that you can do slowly that really make things better when you move fast. That's my thing. I didn't invent that thing, but that's my thing. The most important thing you can do when you learn martial arts is to enjoy it. Everybody's built differently. Everyone has different strengths, different weaknesses. We're all different psychologically, and we can all learn from each other. Martial arts is something that you can do forever, so the important thing is to enjoy it. Andrew's saying the magic of slow. Yeah, I've got a seminar that I've taught called The Magic of Slow. And this is such a core philosophy for Bill. And just in case anybody's noticing that I'm referring to him in his first name, if we were training, I would never do that. But we are on a first name basis, and I know that it is acceptable, not just acceptable, but in that sort of reference, he's more than good with me calling him Bill. But we see really the core philosophy for what he does and what he's always done is to enjoy it. He does what he enjoys. He loves giving seminars. He loves teaching. He loves hanging out with people that love martial arts. I see him sit down with people who, they might bring in a magazine from 40 years ago with him on it. And, I've watched him listen to these stories, and he genuinely cares. He genuinely values other people's appreciation of him. And I don't know that there are a lot of celebrities that feel that way. I think it's easy when people adore you, or at least I'm suspecting, because this isn't me. I suspect it's easy when people adore you to take that for granted. If you're some big movie star and everywhere you go, people want to take a picture with you. But to realize it could be gone in a moment, and that it doesn't just extend to celebrities. It could be anything and anyone. It could all be gone in a moment. It's unlikely, but there could be some massive earthquake that decimates my home right now. Okay, didn't happen. Great. But it still could. There are any number of disasters that could change your life in a heartbeat. So appreciate what you're doing and where you are. Gratitude. Lead with gratitude. Everybody has their own way of doing something. There's no wrong way, but there's also no perfectly right way. People argue all the time about who's right and who's wrong. I say, play the game and get along with people. My job is to give ideas. Your job as a student is to take those ideas, play with them, change them, and go make them work for you. And therein you can see not just the humility, but the awareness for Bill as a martial artist. And you may notice that that philosophy lines up pretty darn closely with the philosophies I've espoused on martial arts radio. Hold on, there's a sneeze. Where is it? Where is it? It's gone. And I've seen this before. I've seen people step in to his seminars and argue. They want to show off. They're not there to learn. They're there for him to say, oh, what you're doing is better. I remember the first seminar I went to with him after earning my black belt from him. It was the next day. I think it was the next day. I don't know. When was that? Anyway, it was like, good morning, Emmett. I think it was the next day. And I ended up partnered up with this guy, and we're doing drills. And guy's got a bunch of stripes on his belt, and he's not doing the things that we're supposed to be doing. Good morning, Nathan. And so I point out to him, I said, hey, Grandmaster Wallace would want you to do this. This is what what he wants us working on. And he pretty much forced somebody next to us to swap partners. He didn't want to work with me because I was telling him he was doing it wrong, because he was doing it wrong. And it wasn't that he didn't get it. It was that he was intentionally doing his own thing because he didn't like what Bill was teaching. Why come to the seminar? And then I found out later he asked Bill to promote him. He wanted rank. And I still remember that because the guy that ended up switching into work with me, I found a really gentle way to tell the person who was doing it wrong. I'm new, but I am a black belt with Grandmaster Wallace. I have some understanding of this material. Far from an expert, but I'm not just here with you as an attendee. And the guy who swapped him, he was like, I get to work with you? You know this stuff. Well, sort of, yeah. And he was thrilled. So everybody won. The idea that there's no right and there's no wrong in martial arts, I think, is so valuable. And I think it's something that we all need to just accept. Yesterday on Whistlekick Live, and if you want, you can catch the replay tonight. I'll have it uploaded on YouTube. If you want to catch it, we talked about music. Sensei Jared Wilson and I talked about music and comparing martial arts to music. There's no right music. There's no wrong music. There's music that works for you or you enjoy, and stuff that maybe you don't. Techniques are the same. There are a bunch of different ways of doing a kick. Here's a great one that I'm seeing all over the place lately, and admittedly, it's driving me nuts. People bending, and if you're a Patreon supporter at $10 up, you saw this video. People really releasing their posterior chain so they can throw a front kick higher. This hunch, you ever see somebody doing that? It's because they don't have the flexibility to kick that high, and they're cheating. Now, if the goal is to put your foot as high as possible, great. If your goal is to put your foot as high as possible with some power and some technique so that it might actually be effective, not that a kick to the face is usually that effective, well, that foot has to be planted. That leg has to be straighter. It can't be hunched over. So there's no right or wrong. There's just different and maybe more or less applicable. And our last one today, you have to teach the muscles to relax. You can't force your muscles to stretch. You just have to take it a little bit at a time so that the muscles learn to relax. That's how you gain and increase your flexibility. Yes. And I would go a step further to say it's not really the muscles relaxing, it's the central nervous system understanding the thresholds of what is and is not safe for your body. And that's why it needs to be slow. That's why forcing stretches is a terrible idea. And that's why there's a good chance that the next Whistlekick program will be on flexibility. Because Well, I see so many people doing it wrong. You use it or you lose it. Look, more notifications coming in about the yearbook I uploaded. So much fun. If you want to get more flexible, here's the gist. Let's take a center split. Let's say you can do a center split and you are at 150 degrees, right? 180 would be flat, 150, right? If you can get to 150 degrees, that's the maximum, then you should go to 140 degrees and hang out there as long as you can. Just enough that you feel some tension. It should not hurt. It should barely be uncomfortable. And the more time you spend there, the more you're convincing your central nervous system this is a safe place to be. You do that, and then maybe the next time you do it, go to 141 degrees, right? So you're making that incremental progress within the safe zone. It's the same principles that you apply in linear progression in weightlifting. It's the same things that you apply in really any progress, that slow, steady progress over time. It happens with, it's the foundation of all the programs that we've got. It's, can you do a little bit more today? And if you can, good to go. Andrew says, I teach something similar to music and speed. Right on. So, there's flexibility. There's a bunch of stuff from a really great guy. If you have the chance to attend a seminar with him, and you know, this weekend's going to be fun, but I won't lie, it's going to be different because it's virtual. I'm excited for the chance to train with these other people. The one time I trained with Michael Jai White was at a large martial arts event, and there were hundreds of people. So I wouldn't say I trained with him. I trained around him, near him. I have been to dinner with him, sort of. We were all in the same room. That was a fun night. Same weekend. It was, of course, Bill. It was Kathy Long. It was Jeff Smith. Who else was in there? Cynthia Rothrock was there, but she wasn't at dinner with us. Bunch of people that you would know from martial arts radio: Dennis Campo and Paul Milholland and Terry Dow. You know, all friends, all Superfoot people. It was a fun night. Fun night. He's a great guy. Michael Jai White's a great guy. His wife's wonderful. They are. I explained this to a friend probably about a year ago. They are one of the most attractive couples. Like just, and they're both very attractive people. But if you see them standing there together, they just make a beautiful couple. And when you see good people who are successful and give back and have humility, that's nice to see. All right, coffee's almost done, so I'm gonna go. I hope you have a great day. I hope whatever you do, you smile, and I hope to see you back here tomorrow. Don't forget, if you've got questions, if you've got comments, put them in the comment section below. Frank's been pulling duty himself. Let's get him some help. And if you're new to the show, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. We do it every weekday, 6:30 a.m. Eastern here on YouTube. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.